Meantime, also some new details this morning on the story of a big options bet from earlier this year that's fallen under a lot of scrutiny. The Wall Street Journal reporting that authorities are investigating at least one meeting between Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick and investor Alexander von Furstenberg ahead of a January announcement by Microsoft that it would acquire Activision for about $69 billion. The Journal says that meeting took place just days before von Furstenberg and media moguls Barry Diller and David Geffen placed a big bet on Activision shares that has since netted them about $60 million in unrealized profit so far. Sources telling the Journal both the Justice Department and SEC are looking into whether the transaction broke insider trading laws. CNBC has reached out to Diller, Geffen, and von Furstenberg for comment. In a statement to CNBC earlier, to the Wall Street Journal, Diller denied any knowledge of a potential Microsoft deal for Activision. Also, a spokesman for Kotick saying the CEO didn't reveal any sensitive knowledge to von Furstenberg at their meeting. This story, of course, raising lots of questions about what's appropriate conduct for CEOs in terms of conversations. And we're going to talk about that right now. Joining us is former SEC Chairman Harvey Pitt. He's now CEO of consulting and law firm Colorado Partners. Thank you for joining us. Look, Barry Diller has been very outspoken, said it in a statement this morning. I just actually saw it again. Says this was a coincidence, says that David Geffen had a thought that this was a buyout target or maybe something that would get taken private. He believes that there's email traffic and other things that will demonstrate that. But it does raise other questions. And assuming he's right, and I don't know if you assume he's right, but if he is right, what kind of meetings CEOs should or shouldn't have? This was apparently a social meeting.
The difficulty you have here is that whether or not anything untoward took place, this meeting was, to put it bluntly, stupid. But the reason I say that is you've got a CEO under fire, and the negotiations with Microsoft didn't just happen overnight. There had to have been discussions going on. When you then sit down with potential investors, people who might be interested in trading, even if you think you're not disclosing confidential information, your body language may give things away. Your refusal to answer certain questions, your hesitation can create problems. This is not a smart meeting by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, but so Harvey, I'm going to take it in a slightly different direction. Let's assume this is a social meeting, which I believe is what at least Bobby Kotick, and I think they went into that meeting thinking it was. You have a social meeting. Maybe you give it away through body language or not. Let's just say that's the case, actually. And then your friend, because we're calling this a social meeting, not an investor meeting, goes off and makes a trade, doesn't tell you, obviously, that it just goes off and does this, which, by the way, may be closer to the sort of facts of this case than anything else, which is they do have this meeting, but then several days later, David Geffen or others suggest this. Maybe Alex von Furstenberg thinks, great, sounds like a good investment idea. And, you know, I kind of felt maybe after this breakfast I had or brunch I had that, you know, something could eventually happen. Then what?
Well, at this juncture, if that happened, it seems to me that the people who traded should have realized that having even an innocent social meeting just before making a major trade was going to raise enormous questions and put the CEO in a very difficult position. This is not the kind of conduct that should be taking place. It's the kind of conduct that raises questions. And even if everything is innocent, it's just foolish. And the way to avoid it is for CEOs, when they're engaged in very serious discussions, to stop these social meetings with people who might trade, or at least be certain that if anything got said at the meeting that might have tipped off a potential trade, that they then make disclosure to the public at large.